Hey guys, welcome back to Rocket Gyan, my fellow space tubers. Okay, how are you all? I am kind of fine, you can say, because I was down with fever today in the morning just because I got my shot yesterday. So I was down with fever, kind of feeling better right now, but not at my best, so you may experience some down in energy, so pardon me for that. Other than that, I have ensured everything best as I can. And here we are again witnessing another launch from NASA's Wallops flight facility. And this will be a sounding rocket launch. It will be a launch for RockSat-X mission. And the rocket it's the which will be launching will be the Terrier Improved Malemute rocket. So there are a lot of things to talk about. This mission itself is going to be what should I say, very interesting, I must say that, because there are very interesting payloads going into the space only, not onto the orbit. This is a sounding rocket, and we'll discuss about this. So how are you all? Hi Kyle, hi Wildflower, hi Michael, hi space flight community. Okay, yes, hi train spotter. I hope you feel better soon. Yes, I guess I will after this launch, let's hope. Okay, so let's just jump into it now. Why does that look like night? This is this is a image. This is not the live footage. So yes, that's why it looks like night. Okay, so this rocket itself is a two-stage rocket. Let's just talk about this rocket now. This rocket itself is a two-stage rocket, and these fins are in cruciform configuration, as well as there is no separation adapter here, which means there is no what should I say, conical separation system here, which means the separation is done with the help of pyros only, and not because of air. This type of configuration which you see here is known as canted configuration. So there in this rocket you have a canted configuration, and this rocket is unguided rocket obviously, and it does not have spin motors, but it is spin stabilized because of the rocket fins. And what else? Okay, so this is about it. Now let's have a look at the two stages now. So these are the two stages. This is the first stage, then the second stage, and then the payload adapter. The first stage is Terrier Mk.70 motor, which is a solid rocket motor, obviously. And the second stage is improved Malemute motor, which is again a solid rocket motor. And these both, can provide uh, can house the payloads between 272 to 544 kilograms, and can be launched to altitudes of 150 to 300 kilometers. So that is one thing which we need to note about. So it can house various payloads depending on how much altitude height you want to reach. You can adjust the payload, as well as for today's launch it will be going to around 94 miles, if I'm not wrong. Yes, 94 miles up in the space, and then coming back to the ocean. Yes, ocean or sea. Yeah, that is ocean there. Okay, cool. So that is the thing. And this rocket is a very powerful rocket. I mean, it has to sustain the payloads inside the rocket, has to sustain around 25 g's of load, g load, you can say. So that's a normal, means the sustainable g load. And there are some impulsive g loads also, which can be up to 50 g's. So this is a very uh, harsh for the payloads, kind of, you can say. And okay, one more thing which you need to note about this rocket is, first of all, it will be spin stabilized because of the fins and all those things. But when it has been separated by the payload, I mean the payload is separated from the second stage, it will despin itself. And when it is despin, it will open up the payloads adapter, and sorry, the payload bay, and the experiments will do their job. So that's how the things will look like. Okay. Now moving on to the payload. So this is what you are right now seeing is the payload adapter, a kind of thing where the payload, the experiments, the scientific equipments or whatever you want to send to space, you need to put that onto this thing. Okay, this is what you can see here. These are, shelves kind of a thing. Here, there are many shelves in this payload adapter, and in all those shelf you can house some payload. So there is obviously some restrictions onto which how much payload you can get in the weight restriction, the volume restrictions, but again, obviously you have to manage for that. But this is how the things look like when you are going with this rocket. Okay, now moving on to which one more thing I would like you to see is that shelf kind of a thing which I was talking about. This is what this is how it looks like. Basically this is a plate, and these are the longerons which you can see here in this picture. These basically kind of, you can say, are the separation of the number of payloads it can carry. Okay, these plates can house different number of payloads, and here you can see in this picture also uh, how will it look like. You can see these are the longerons, these are the payload, and these are the shelves in which the payloads can be uh, uh, included into this rocket. So this is the thing. And one more thing which I would like you to know, this one. You can see the experiment shall be designed to withstand at least 25 Gs of quasi-static loading in all the three axes, with possible impulses of approximately 50 Gs in the longitudinal axis, which means that 25 Gs of quasi-static loading, which means this is, you can say, the sustained G force which the experiments will have to sustain during its flight. So this is the normal G force which will happen, and then could be impulses of g forces of up to 50 g's during the flight. And the difference between impulses of g forces and this is that first of all 25 g's could be that normal one which is experienced during a flight. Impulsive means whenever there is a separation event, or there is a, you can say, ignition of the motor, there is a certain kind of impulse during that time to the payload of just like 1 second or 2 seconds or so. At that point of time, there is approximately 50 Gs in longitudinal axis. Longitudinal is nothing but the that Z axis is nothing but that axis only wherein the rocket is going. Okay, that is Z axis. And 25 Gs it has to sustain in all of the other axes. So this is how it looks like. There is, the flight environment condition. There is whole, you can say, this is a book which you have to read first of all if you want to send anything onto this rocket, and accordingly you have to design your payload. So yes, this is one thing. Now the, the experiments which are going to this with this rocket are very interesting, I must say that, because wait a sec. The projects here are a mix of technology and science experiments, including the development of a 360-degree camera, which I will show you. I mean, we don't have much details out of how the things will look like. I mean, the payloads and the science which are going to this for this mission. But I have something for you to see, which I'll be showing you. Okay, so uh, development of a 360-degree camera for use on sounding rockets. Other one, the next one will be the space debris removal concept, a solar array deployment system for CubeSat, and the collection of particles in space for research on the origins of life. So these are very interesting experiments which are going on. And talking about a 360-degree camera to be used on sounding rockets, let's just see how does that look like. Okay, I do have one thing for you to see. Okay, this is another payload adapter picture. uh Loading, just a sec. there was one, we have this 360
Welcome.
degree video of a sounding rocket payload which was sent to the space, and this video was recorded in 360 degree, which you can see from here. So let's just have a look at how does it look like when we are launching the rocket. It, I guess my uh, internet is not a problem. I guess the is a problem, but you can see the 360 degree video, and right now the load. I mean the rocket. This is how it looks like. Okay, this is a 360 degree video, and right now we are on the rocket, sound rocket, and wow, it looks so cool, right? Going into the clouds, and there is a one telemetry also. The frame rate is kind of poor in this thing, but I guess that's how it is. Going through the cloud right now. This is a 360 camera which is installed on a sounding rocket. You can see that here. And if I may kind of separation, or right now it is spinning, you can see here, and will certainly see the separation of the stage also, and that would look so cool. There you go. Here you can see this. This is the stage which has been separated, and the camera has actually captured it. This is how it looks like. I'd like you to see the other payload which is going is actually this CubeSat array solar array deployment, which you can see here in this video. And guys, just remember that CubeSat is a very small satellite. Okay, so the array deployment and everything is kind of simpler, but again, it's a space hardware, so you need to be double sure about it. So this is a flight. This is the deployment in ground testing. Right now those array deployment will happen in space so as to double assure and meet the requirements. Okay, and see what it looks like. You can actually see how these solar arrays actually differ from our conventional satellites, right? And obviously it has not been deployed yet fully. You will see, just a sec, wait. There you go. This solar array deployment looks very easier in this frames and everything, but when you consider the moment of inertia and everything, the physics calculation kind of become complex, and you need to make sure that these joints and everything are very firm, because whenever the satellite rotates or do some maneuvers, these joints will suffer the most. So that is what you have to worry about. Okay. So that is the other thing which is going to for today's experiment launch, and the other one is this one, which is what is this? What is this actually? This is a space dust. Yes, we do have some dust in space also, and we call it as cosmic dust also. You can kind of say this is nothing but extraterrestrial dust or space dust is a dust which exists in outer space or has fallen on the earth. And most cosmic dust particle measure between a few molecules to 0.1 micrometer or 100 micrometers. And here the image which you are seeing is the porous chondrite interplanetary dust particle. These kind of dust particles exist and is there in space. And it on earth also, every year around 1,000 of tons of cosmic dust falls onto the earth's surface every year. But obviously it interacts with the atmosphere and changes its properties. So the experiment which is going for today's launch will be a cosmic dust collector. So it will be opening up the chamber, and then it will collect all the space dust, whatever it will find at that point of time, space dust, cosmic dust, and all those things. And then it will be recovered after the after it re-enters the atmosphere and splash down into the ocean. So this is one interesting experiment which is going. Okay. And kind of you can say that this is alien particle. Most of the time these are the organic particles also, so you never know whether some sort of proto molecule is on the way. Okay, now let's have a look at the visibility map. This is a visibility map for you to see. Again, if you live nearby, you should be able to see this launch. This is the Wallops Island. You can see T plus 10 second, T plus 20 here. You can see, and T plus 30 seconds. This big uh, yellow one. But again, this is not going very far away towards the east, so it won't be visible to far away places. So yes, it will be very much visible only if you live near the Wallops Island. So this is the visibility map for today's launch. uh,
Coming up at T-minus 15-minute mark, we'll have the poll to proceed with the countdown. So main item there to be looking at.
there you go. So we are right now T minus 16 minutes until the launch. Everything is looking good.
The rocket today will be a Terrier Improved Malemute. Length is 44 feet. Again, this is a sounding rocket, so it's very fast to be ready to look and be on the lookout for the launch when it happens. First stage Terrier, when it ignites, then burns out at 5.2 seconds. At that point, it's 1.5 miles altitude and already traveling a velocity of 1,297 miles an hour.
X65 camera recorder's already started.
The second stage Malemute then ignites at 18 seconds, burnout at 29.7 seconds. At that point, it's at 11.5 miles altitude, traveling at 3,706 miles an hour, downrange at 9.3 miles. Again, apogee today is about 196 seconds into flight, about 90 miles. At that point, it's about downrange from about 34.5 miles from Wallops. Chute deploys occurs at 448 seconds into flight at 4.2 miles altitude, and at that point, it's about downrange from Wallops at 70 miles. And then we expect it to come down by the parachute at about 908 seconds into the flight, again about 60 to 70 miles out from Wallops. This vehicle will be recovered, the payload will be recovered, so that we can get these experiments back to the students so that
all stations, this is ROA on channel 1.
And we're now getting ready for the poll.
46.030 Terrier Improved Malemute launching from pad 2 50K launcher. Please stand by for station checks to proceed with the terminal count. All stations should announce status as green or red on channel 1 range ops. RC?
RC is green.
M&O?
M&O is green.
RSM?
RSM is green.
SCO?
SCO is green.
Programmer?
Programmer is green.
LWO?
LO's green.
LPM,
LPM's green.
ACS,
ACS green.
PLC,
PLC is green.
PTM,
PTM is green.
MM,
MM is green.
SRPO,
SRPO is green.
CE,
CE is green.
PM,
PM is green.
RSO,
RSO is green.
TD.
TD is green.
Check 149.
All stations are responsible for reviewing the go-no-go criteria listed in the OD. Only stations annotated with an asterisk in previous step are permitted to call a hold. All the sites report red. Check item 150.
M&O PM.
Go ahead, PM.
Start recorders.
So everything looks
Recorder
green
started.
at
Copy.
this
Check
moment.
151.
And there you heard it. All stations are reporting green for the launch. Therefore, we are targeting a 5 p.m. launch at the very beginning of the window in just about 13 minutes. Terminal count begins at about the T-minus 10-minute mark.
So everything is looking green right now, and the audio also is very not good from the source itself. So it's like the audio is actually coming on to one. If you are using earphones or headphones, you will hear only one sound from one of the sides from the source. The people from the Wallops, I don't know what they have done here. So you might be wondering, this is not from my side, but actually from their side only. So you might need to wear both of the earphones or headphones, whatever you are using. Listen to this thing, otherwise you will just hear my voice and you hear
The
them.
RockSat-X payloads that we're flying today is part of a three-step program that NASA is doing with the Colorado Space Grant and universities and community colleges across the country. The first level is RockOn. Those are students that come here to Wallops typically. In the last couple of years with COVID, we've had to do it virtually, but they actually learn how to build experiments, which is the main part of this program, is learning how to build the experiments for spaceflight. And then the next level is RockSat-C. These are typically done by university teams, and the students will develop and design their own experiment that will then go on with the RockOn, and that was just launched in June of this year. And then the final level is RockSat-X, where the experiments are a little bit more, I guess, I wouldn't say difficult, but a little bit more to them and a little bit larger payload area that they had to fly. So we're very excited about this program and the some of the students that have been involved in it and where they've gone on in their careers.
What is improved in this rocket? Well, that's the name for it. Previously, they used to fly only Terrier Malemute rocket, and Terrier is actually the naming convention is like this. The Terrier is the first stage, which is the solid rocket motor, and then the Malemute is the second stage. So earlier they used to fly Terrier Malemute, which means the first stage was Terrier, the second stage was Malemute. Now they are flying Terrier Improved Malemute, which means Terrier is the first stage, but the improved Malemute, the second stage is upgraded one. Okay, so that's why improved. Yes, these are the Rideshare University experiments. RockSat-X experiments are often larger and often kind of complex, as he said. So you just saw what we have in store for us to. So let's hope we get the 360-degree videos also out of this mission, and let's see how the things progress. Now we are T-minus 10 minutes until the launch. Everything looks great.
T-minus 10 minutes and counting.
We have the sec.
PLC check 153, 154, 156. PLC check 159. M&O PM.
Good, PM.
Record RF parameters. Report TM lock.
parameters recorded nominal, and TM is locked.
Copy.
T
Check
minus.
15. Check 160.
ACS check 155.
RC, PM.
RC, go.
Request interrogation transponder.
In work, sir.
They are looking great right now. Everything is green, and we are just waiting for the liftoff to happen.
TM pressure is 17.4 psia. Check 161.
Talking about this rocket itself is unguided rocket, so the engines does not have gimbal in it. There is no kind of TVC or thrust vector control in it, so that's why you can see the fins on it, the first stage as well as the second stage. You can see that also animation as well as in the rocket if you can.
Go for PM.
Beacon is trackable. Good 5 code.
Copy. Check 165.
Kind of, yes. I have actually listened to their mission control voice.
PCM check 164, 166.
And
ACS check 162.
when it comes to sounding rocket, sometimes it's kind of funny when you listen to the mission control of the sounding rockets. I don't know why. I have noticed this thing for so many launches now. Okay, we are T minus 7 minutes till the launch.
RSO, ROA.
Actually, I am just
Provide final wind weighted settings for 50K launcher.
Copy. Final wind weighting settings for 50K launcher is azimuth 91.5, elevation 83.1.
Azimuth 91.5, elevation 83.1.
Good copy.
Check 167. LC, ROA.
LC, go.
Set 50K launcher to final wind weighted settings. Azimuth 91.5, elevation 83.1.
Moving 50K launcher. Azimuth 91.5, elevation 83.1.
Good readback.
ROA, RSO.
Go for ROA.
Yes, ma'am. We're waiting for one more final balloon to come in just to confirm there's no variation between those settings.
Copy. We'll go to new settings and I'll stand by for an update if needed.
Copy all.
ROA.
To go outside in kind of, at T minus 2 minutes. Because
And just a reminder for those tuning in that there is some delay in what you're seeing and what is happening here at Wallops. So take that into account if you're in the area and you're trying to go out and view the launch.
T-minus 5 minutes in counting. Targeted T0 is day 231, 210000.0.
yes, I'll be streaming the OneWeb
PLC
too.
check 169.
But it will
TDRSO on 1. Can you meet me on 5?
depend on this mission whether it will lift off at T minus 4 minutes. So let's hope it does, because otherwise it will clash with the OneWeb. Let's hope. Okay, so right now we are T minus 4 minutes until the launch. Everything is green, and the wind conditions are adjusted for the launch. Let's just hope this is a successful, because there are many exciting experiments going on in this launch. First payloads will be powering up at 3 minutes before the.
Go for MM. Yes, sir. We may have to hold because we don't have a final wind weighted setting, and I recommend holding at 3.
PLC check 171.
We can hold at 3 if you need TD. Just make sure we don't go internal.
TD, it's RSO. I have final settings now.
ROA's ready.
ROA, final wind weighting settings are azimuth 90.8, elevation 83.1.
Azimuth 90.8, elevation 83.1.
Good copy.
LC, ROA.
LC, go.
I have updated settings for you. Azimuth 90.8, elevation 83.1.
50K launcher is set at 90.8 azimuth, elevation 83.1.
Good readback.
TDS RPO, we are proceeding.
That's correct.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we are proceeding with the launch, so there is not a delay. And as mentioned by Kyle, they were supposed to switch at internal power at 3, but if they would have hold,
check 172.
they wouldn't have switched to the internal power. That is one.
ACS check 175.
No, we are not holding. We are go for the launch. Everything is looking good. They were awaiting the wind weighted settings. That's it. So right now they have adjusted the angle of launch.
Check 172, 173, 176, 177, and 180.
And
I'm an OPM.
yeah, T minus 2 minutes until the launch.
Go ahead, Fremino.
Report TM lock.
TM
TM lock.
Verify no change in TM signal strength or deviation.
TM is unchanged.
Verify chart recorders are nominal.
Charts are nominal.
Confirm no change in transponder on internal power.
Minus 2 minutes.
PTM.
No change on internal.
PLC check 186.
PTM check 181, 186, and 182.
Copy check 178, 179, 183, 184.
Yes, the systems have been activated
LC,
and
ROA.
is in internal power. Yes, it is in internal power. Everything
go
is
ahead.
looking great
Can I
right
get
now.
confirmation on
ACS
settings?
185.
Final settings are in. Elevation 83.1, azimuth 90.8.
Check 174.
Payless stations, this is MM polling for status to proceed to launch. ACS,
ACS go.
PLC,
PLC go.
PTM,
PTM go.
SRPO,
T minus 1 minute. SRPO is go.
T minus
MM
1
is
minute.
go. NASROC Payless status is go. Check
Guys,
187, 188.
It is happening.
50.
Minus 50 seconds. Everything is looking good, guys. You should go now and outside if you are living nearby and look for this rocket launch.
40.
We are T minus 40 seconds until the launch. Everything is green. We are go for the launch and let's just see this rocket lift off to the
30.
sky and to the space now. T minus 27 seconds. T minus 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, plus 1.
There you go.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
18 tracking.
8 meter auto track. 9, 10.
9 meter auto track.
Whoa, that was hella fast. I must say that.
Antennas tracking.
That was too fast.
Radar
God.
3 is tracking the booster.
Malamute ignition.
Good job, TM. Good job, radar.
Whoa.
Plus 30.
The second stage shut down now. Burn out, not shut down.
Plus
Everything is
40.
good right now.
Plus 50.
We obviously don't have the footage, so right now the second stage is still attached with the payload adapter. Animation detached.
Plus 1 minute.
1 minute 9 seconds or so. There Okay.
Malamute separation and despin.
Despin VR, there you go. Despin
Flash on the
happened.
booster.
And now this has been separated. The payload adapt base
Nose cone separation.
There you go. Mission confirmed. And the payloads are exposed to the space. Now they are doing the readings and everything which they have to do.
Radar 3 is now on the payload.
Am I running RSS? No, this is a normal ASP. Although I would love to do this thing RSS, but the thing is,
2 minutes.
it will just make the things complicated. Want the animations to run the way they should.
TD RSO LPM on channel 1.
Go for TD.
Yes, sir. I'd like to get the fire department down here just to put out a small grass fire.
Okay, interesting.
So you good with that?
RSO confirms.
Copy that. I've already called it in. They're on their way.
Copy.
Small fire near the launch pad, but it's okay. Fire department is way control that fire. Otherwise, the launch. Did you see that launch? There were around the G loads were around 26 or 25 G, which were sustained, and up to 50 Gs of impulsive G load. So that was hell of a ride for the payloads, I must say that.
3 minutes.
So right now the payloads are exposed to the space. And the 360-degree cameras is taking the pictures. The cosmic dust collector or the space dust collector is collecting the space dust right now, and the CubeSat array deployment is deploying its array, as well as one more there. The space debris concept, space debris removal concept. This is also went with this launch, but we don't have the details out it. That is also working right now. And once it starts re-entering the atmosphere, there will be certain experiments which will not survive the re-entry heating. The re-entry heatings is kind of,
PTM, SRPL.
the maximum temperature, which is...
We did get separation, sir, correct?
We're looking into it.
Which reach the maximum temperature, which is reached in this re-entry, is around 500 degree Fahrenheit. So it actually melts plastic and all those things. So if you want to recover your experiment, like they want to do it now, this thing, so they had to design that experiment to be heat resistant, and the thing which they will be recovering will be that cosmic dust collector. So
PTM.
let's see.
We did get aft skirt separation.
Thank you, sir.
How long does it stay up there? Don't have those details as such, but we know that it goes up to 94 miles up in at altitude. I have to do the maths, figure out what would be the... we do know that at T plus 15 minutes or so, the splashdown will happen. So I guess now it is re-entering the atmosphere. Yeah. Which you see happening. Oh, cool, Peter. Why? Our payload will be deploying a small prototype re-entry capsule at apogee. Oh, Kyle's are actually you have done some. Didn't know that. Cool. So what type of payload you are having on this rocket? Because in the description what we had in informational website, as they say, did not include any as such experiment out of those which I
TD LPM on channel 1.
Go for TD.
Yes, sir. We Need launcher measurements, or are we clear to bring the launcher down?
Standby. Looks like it's a little high and long. I'll wait for SRPO.
The maximum
Let's stand by
altitude
on that TD.
maximum altitude pair is around 94 miles. So that is the maximum altitude, and the maximum range is 64 miles. So it is actually not going further down range. It is just going up and then coming down mostly. There are several. I actually love to know about these sounding rocket payloads because most of the time they are those science experiments, and I love to know about those science experiments. I don't know why it does not proper inform. So if you are willing to tell what it actually had on this, what you actually had on, would be great.
Readout, do you have lock?
Roger, have good luck.
Copy.
PM SRPO.
Go for PM.
Do we have a apogee from radar?
Wait 1. Or CPM.
Stand by, please. PMRC, that's in work.
Copy, standing by.
So everything is great, looking great. It's a capsule that will use foil blades to spin itself up and decelerate through auto rotation. Interesting. So this
PMRC.
experiment
Go
will.
for PM.
Yeah, that's 519, 545.2 feet.
Don't need mission control. It's a capsule that will use airfoil blades to spin itself up and decelerate through auto rotation to the seeds that fall from the trees and spin. Cool. So that is a great experiment, but I mean, what are you actually trying to study with this? This is what we are. Whatever you have described, this is what is going to happen. But why? What are you trying to research from this experiment? A new re-entry technique? Slow ourselves down, or what? Attempt is try and decelerate re-entry vehicles with no parachutes or thruster. Wow. Why don't NASA include these experiments in a description? I would have studied about this, researched about it, these, and would have, talked about this in my stream only. Such a cool experiment done. The attempt is to try and decelerate the re-entry vehicle with no parachute or thruster. Such a cool thing. Wow. I mean, but would it be possible for larger payloads? I mean, larger capsule like, Dragon capsules with such a mechanism. I guess this works for small payloads and adapters, but I doubt for this to work for larger ones. I don't know. I may be wrong, but I guess for the larger ones, it needs to after it let's say reaches a certain height or certain height in the atmosphere, it has to power up the motors of that blades for a larger vehicle, larger capsule, then slow itself. Be a very tricky thing. They attempted this in 60s but abandoned it. Such a cool experiment, I guess. This is actually a very cool experiment to do. But there are certain things which were abandoned in 60s, 80s, 90s, whatever you want to say, which were very cool and which were very futuristic, but were not taken into account. There are several examples for that. One is this thing which you just told, the Orion drive, which we all wanted to have. Then the Sea Dragon. There are so many things which were abandoned or which were not taken in consideration. People at that time were very creative, I must say that. Yeah, I guess they have ended the stream. My stream is working, right? Yeah, they. So I guess this was it for today's launch. I mean, if we see the launch again, that was pretty
I'm polling for status to proceed to launch.
Yes, 195.
fast
9,
again.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, plus 1,
Wow.
3, 4,
You can see the rotation also here.
8-meter auto track. 9-meter auto track.
Then you will see the
Antennas.
stage ignition soon. There you go.
Radar crew is tracking the booster.
Malemute ignition.
Good job, TM. Good job, radar.
plus 30.
There you go. So actually you need to have such a high TWR for these type of missions that it does not go out of its intended trajectory. If you are applying more force in a certain direction, then there are less chances of it going into other directions. So that's why these sounding rockets tend to have such a high TWR so that it does not deviate from it. Oh, I guess we can have a look at the Twitter. I actually tested this payload in KSP. The game didn't like it too much. I mean, KSP is not real. The thing which you are doing in real life is much better, I must. So, yeah, if KSP does not approve it, it's a very rare case when KSP does not approve it, but it happens in real life. But yeah, that's how I do have some interesting things about. So yeah, the splashdown must have happened right now, and the recovery team must be on their way to recover the payload. So talking about the recovery, will your payload be recovered in this thing or not? Okay, yes. Firefly is about to launch. They were supposed to launch. I was talking about this also in last stream. They were supposed to launch in March 2021, but they didn't. They just conducted their static fire test, which you can see here, and it was successful, and they are looking good for September to lift off. This is how it looks like for their Firefly rocket. This is small to medium launcher. This is a new launcher which is coming to the market. It will be very interesting to see how things proceed, and obviously I'll be streaming this launch also. And obviously, this is a thing which Blue Origin is doing. After filing a suit in the US Court of Federal Claims, Blue Origin wins a stay on NASA's effort to proceed with the development of a human land. Stay remains in effect until November 1, 2 weeks after oral arguments. Case a word about this. Source familiar with Bob Smith, Blue Origin CEO, said he was rubbing his hands together after losing the HLS contract almost. Smith is willing to take this suit as far as he can, whatever the cost, has hired numerous law firms to. Okay, this is not good. Blue Origin, I feel very sad for the employees, the scientists, and the engineers working on working in Blue Origin because of their upper management, their management, which is just going on their what should I say now, greed of getting the contract. I mean, they have literally won the stay as such right now for till November 1. So you can kind of say that it's 70 days of stay, which means no HLS activity till 70 days. I mean, it's not that long, but again, it's something, and we know what SpaceX can do in 70 days. So 70 days is more than enough for SpaceX to do something miraculous. So this is very childish and selfish. I must say that now. This is very childish and selfish from Blue Origin to do this thing. Capsule will not, but the capsule sends the data to the data logger, which. Okay, cool. This. If you don't know, guys, what is happening with Blue Origin and SpaceX and NASA, Blue Origin basically headed by Jeff Bezos has sued NASA for giving the contract, the HLS, the Human Landing System contract, to SpaceX and not to Blue Origin. Yes, that's why they have. They say that their conditions to give the contract to SpaceX is not justified and not fair, and that's why they have sued NASA. They are literally doing this thing in which they are delaying our chances to go to the moon to have their actions recognized. I will be doing that. SpaceX is currently better suited for this business. Exactly. Not orbital. I mean, still not. Yes, it is still not orbital, but again, we know how those infographics and everything have played. Literally, they have sued NASA and now they are hoping to get contract from the NASA. How does that work? How does that even work? I mean, how? You have sued NASA and now you are wanting to have a contract from them. Do you even know how this will pan out? I mean, okay, if you win the case, let's say they win the case, now they get the contract. So do they hope that they will get future contracts also from NASA now? They will obviously get some very bad reputation. In August 25, they will be launching their New Shepard rocket again. This time it will be uncrewed. It will not be any crew on it, but it will have the experiments, and one of those experiments will be the NASA's lunar landing system, which they tested in previous flight also in October 20. So they are kind of working with NASA. I think this contract before was signed before suing NASA. So I guess they went on with it. But you know, I don't know what is happening with Blue Origin. They should work on delivering the engines to Tori right now. And instead, what we are seeing is this. Okay, so there is one more launch coming in, guys. This will be a Soyuz launch, which will be happening. Earth is happening soon, so I must go and do about it, I guess. It's a OneWeb launch. I'll have to wait and see whether I'll be because you know, is this real? Looking forward to the outcome of Blue Origin's HLS lawsuit for engine and schedule. Well, expects to see the same level of enthusiasm focused on the investment of the American taxpayer. It's time to deliver those. Is this real? I don't know. Could be a meme because we can't trust this source, but uh, this thing tweet or so. But whenever he was questioned about those engines and everything, I have just seen some those answers, which were kind of diplomatic. So I don't expect him to say those. I don't know. There is no. That was a meme. That was. Infinity is doing its damn work, and Raptor vacuum. Yes, they need to cover those injector plates. Those are the vital, you can say, mechanism. Oh, and we have the stream for the Roscosmos, I guess. Roscosmos Soyuz, which is Ariane space, and kind of see that it is the people are still there on the pad working on this thing. OneWeb launch is scheduled in 8 minutes. People are still on the pad. So yes, have to wait. I guess now I can end the stream, and whatever is left, I may do it in the Soyuz stream if I may. If I may do. It's a very hard thing. Okay, guys. I think that was it. Thank you so much for tuning in. What else do we have? Minus 57 minutes. Yes. So I guess now I should go and maybe do some work for Soyuz stream, and then I'll be back with the Soyuz stream. Okay, I'll pull out the Soyuz stream for you. So do look out for that. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until then, this is Priyanshu Rohila. You just saw Rocket Gyan. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll meet you further with the Soyuz stream.